What is the meaning of employee potential? Actually, it is the behavior and the personality traits that we are referring to. What kind of personality this person is holding? Is he very shy? Is he very hesitant? And all this you will get to know while you take his interview. Likewise, when you put up more questions for the candidate, you will get to know more about him. Of course, you will get the subjective knowledge based on his qualifications, experience, expertise, and skill sets. But there are some other factors too that we need to consider when we have to pick up the potential employees. So, what are these points that we need to figure out whether this candidate actually possesses that or not? One is the ability. Ability in terms of the performance that is absolutely driven in that way which the organization expects. For that, you can check up his previous company's record if he has some kind of experience, or if, let's say, he is a fresh graduate, then you can check up his college related skills or the activities where he has participated. Second is his aspiration, means what kind of drive he has when it comes to succeeding. Is he just doing the job for getting salary? Is he only inclined towards that 9 to 5 setup? Or is he really holding some kind of aspiration which can push him forward in his career? Try to look for these skills. What kind of relationships is he able to build? So, in an interview, the first round generally happens with HRs. So, try to check from there only whether that employee is able to maintain a good relationship. Is he able to talk to you with ease? Is he able to maintain that level of interpersonal skills or not? Next is the behavior of a person. Again, it should be able to match to the success drivers. How is he able to carry up his attitude and behavior, his overall etiquette? Try to even check for the parameters included in adaptability. Means how much flexible he is when you offer him some changing situations, or when you talk about some changes, how is he responding to that? And yes, always assess the leadership qualities of an employee. Not everybody will be hired for a managerial role, but these leadership qualities are not meant for the senior roles only. It is for every employee who is willing to work in a company. Because leadership qualities will give you an idea as to how this person can be with the team. Is he carrying empathy with him? Is he able to listen to others, and how responsive he is in terms of his answers? Try to look for all these areas. So yes, HRs have to really recruit and hire new people, and this process is too much in a continuous manner. New employees means that there will be changes in the company. There will be new ideas, new skill sets that will be brought to the company. And we need to make sure that all of them have some positive attitude and they understand the culture of the company well. And pertaining to all these reasons, the companies are in need to hire the best of the candidates who are suitable for their company. When one vacancy is rolled out, there are many applications for the same. And it is very difficult for the recruiter sometimes to look for the right candidate from the applications received. It is time consuming and it is sometimes not the effective way to find the right person. And that is why we would discuss some of the strategies today in this video that will give you an idea as to how we can formulate the strategies. Let's first talk about some of the characteristics of the high potential employees. We have discussed these points in brief. Let me just give you a detailed idea. Ability. Ability, where we are talking about the performance of an employee. If he is about to take up a serious position, that means he has some kind of experience in association with that. So you need to check up his expertise and his innate abilities. He should be able to give you an idea about his previous results, how he performed in his previous companies, and whatever experience is associated to that. From there, you will be able to check the ability of an employee. How well can he perform under pressure, and how well has he been able to handle the situations of crisis. Second is aspiration, and this is required in every employee because from his aspirational values only we'll be able to figure out whether he has some long-term goals for himself. If not for the company, at least he has something for himself. How good he is in terms of decision making. How much knowledge does he carry? And is he ready if we bestow some new responsibilities on him? If you are able to sense the aspiration level of an employee, you will be getting the answers to the questions I have just portrayed here. The next part is behavior. Every person, he has his own set of etiquette, the mannerism, and from behavior, you can easily check about his personality traits. Here we are using one term as HIPO, that is referring to high potential employees. It is just the short form that we use. So these kind of employees who have the high potential, they will show you great abilities in themselves. You can even check their emotional intelligence part, how much good they are in balancing their emotions, and how do they behave under pressure. When you give them some tricky situation in an interview, how well can they answer that? This is how you can sense up their capacity to handle the pressure and how well they can balance up their emotions. Next is social skills. It is important that we are able to adjust in the changing circumstances. How well can we manage the extra set of responsibilities that are given to us? Is the person extrovert? Is he having some social influence? So from all these aspects, you can detect the social skills of an employee. After social skills, please check on with the flexibility and adaptability of a person. You can even give him some situations where you can try to offer him the flexible environment or some changes you can suggest. Then you can analyze, is he flexible enough to get adapted in the changing environment, or is he just constant and rigid? He's not able to come out of his comfort zone. All these traits can be really analyzed, and this will give you an idea whether the person is high potential or not. So there are three dimensions of potential that we need to check up for an employee. First is look for his career dimensions. Check for the specific attributes and the skill sets he possesses. Check for his experience and expertise and what all jobs he has done in his past. Try to figure out on the basis of that whether he holds some kind of seriousness towards his career, or he's just switching the jobs to get better salary. Try to figure out on the basis of these trends. Try to even find out the skills that he possesses in a specific way and how well is he able to exhibit them in different aspects of his career. Next is growth dimensions. So yes, just like career dimensions, which is again an aspect related to the future perspective, growth dimension is also related to that only. Check for the attributes that he is able to develop in himself over the time. Because when we are in college, everybody has limited set of expertise and knowledge. But as you get mature in the company, you get to learn new things. So look at the past trends that he has. Look for the combination of individual and situational factors he's able to portray. Identify whether you feel that these attributes are suitable for your company or not. Next is foundational dimensions. So these are considered the most stable characteristics, and they are not depending on any specific job, and they can be translated across the number of areas. So with the help of foundational dimensions, we can look for the short-term and the long-term potential of an employee. And it will give you an idea about the qualities on intelligence and even consciousness towards different things. Now let's talk about some of the HR methods that are used to evaluate a potential recruit. First of all, you should have a resume screening software. Because as HR, I'm sure you are able to relate. As you roll out one vacancy, there are multiple applications you receive for that. And it is just not possible if you check the resume of all the applicants manually. Therefore, companies use different software, and one popular of the software is automated tracking software called as ATS. We can even use resume screening software that can streamline and augment the resume review process, because that is the first stage we encounter in our recruitment process. So when you have resume screening tools available through that software, you will get many more features which will make your task easier. There are some keywords, there are some auto detect methods in that software through which you can easily assess the resume of the candidates, and you can even gather the information about that particular candidate. There are also AI-based softwares and some machine capabilities in this resume screening tools, which will automate the filtering process. And we can only evaluate few people from the list of 100 people because all of them are not fit for the role they have applied for. Therefore, using a software will save your time, it will make your work easy, and it will also reduce human errors. Next is evaluating the experience. After you have screened out the resume, you have selected some set of people whom you look as promising. Now you need to check for their experience and education, because again, it has to match with the job role that you are offering. Sometimes you can prioritize the candidates, and here I am not referring to prioritizing on some forms of bias, but yes, as per their education, university, the brand associated with their university, or even the workplaces they have earlier worked with. These points should be clearly identified by you as HR, and you should consider them fit for the next step if you feel that his educational qualifications or his previous work scenarios really contribute to the new role you're hiring him for. Let me share one example here. Suppose you are hiring somebody for the role of programming, and the candidate whom you have shortlisted, he holds the degree of psychology from Harvard. Now, Harvard is a huge name, we know that, but his psychology degree is not matching with the programming position. Instead, you would be looking for someone who has that computer science degree, even from a local college, that would go. So every time you have to look for the mix and the match possibilities, and you cannot just have a hit and trial method here. So if you feel that the candidates who have applied for the role, in some ways their education or experience is not matching with the needs of the company, you can please eliminate them from the pool of applicants. This is completely fine and it is absolutely fair. Next is conducting a test for hard skills. Today, we talk a lot about hard skills and soft skills. Let me just give you a small idea. Hard skills refer to those skills for which we need to take up some kind of course, or we refer to some books particularly, and we just want to get trained in that particular skill. For example, you want to learn about computer. So what can you do? You can take up the help of a coach who is an expert in computers. You can buy some books related to computer. And even you can have some practical and theoretical assessments to enhance your computer knowledge. So here, computer knowledge is referring to the hard skills. But soft skills, they actually have a wider picture, and sometimes it is just not easy to learn the soft skills by taking a 2-month course or by purchasing one book, that might not be sufficient. So for soft skills, you require more exposure to the real world, to encounter the real life-based situations, or even to take help from so many experts, not just relying on one coach. So the soft skills, it refers to your empathy, listening skills, your compassion, determination, dedication, your adaptability, your ability to stay still even when there is a crisis. So all these refer to the soft skills. Now we are conducting a test for hard skills. The recruiters should rely on the technology while they are having their recruitment process, and using those technical set of tools, they can analyze the technical skill sets of your candidate, because everywhere we require technology in some or the other way. You can even provide some aptitude test, cognitive ability based test, or some kind of assessments through that software. The software can be like ATS that we have discussed a few minutes back. And from one particular platform, you can manage all your applicants together in a convenient way. So when your applicants have to go through some kind of assessment or some test in the given software, it is very easier for you to detect what kind of hard skills do they possess. Next is taking interviews for soft skills. Just now we talked about soft skills, and I mentioned that unlike hard skills, soft skills is not an easy parameter that can be learned or that can be judged. You only have the verbal interview that you are taking, through which you can assess the soft skills of a person. Try to look for his interpersonal skills and check whether he is a suitable fit in the company or not. Take up interviews through multiple ways, like phone calls, virtual interviews, any which ways you are following. But in all the forms, try to look for the personality traits of an individual. Check for his conversational skills, interactive ability, and the ethics he has practiced in past. So look up for some situations that you can provide him. And when he attempts those situations, from that you can check up his soft skills. Verify the references, because sometimes you receive the applicants through some references. Maybe they are in your company or maybe outside the company, but yes, those vendors or associates are your business clients or so. So then you should make a clear verification about those people. The person who has referred him, you can directly approach him to make sure that what all skill sets he possesses, you can get to know even before he comes for the interview. That is also a fair practice that we can follow. Once the interviewee is there for the interview, you can put up questions about his previous employer, about his co-workers, and even the skill sets he has contributed to in his previous company. By all this, you will be able to check what all skill sets he carries, how much performance oriented he is. Like that, you will be able to get a clear idea about the potential candidate.